Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Drop Your Noise. Are you new to the show? Hey, my name is Kirti. Welcome. We have conversations with guests from around the world sharing their insights and perspectives on certain current topics and themes that are happening. I also share my insights and the pause phrases that I come up with around on how to train the mind to stay mentally resilient and calm when we are communicating with others. What am I going to be talking about this month? Initially, I was going to share about March and talk about female leadership in the workforce. I had a bit of a change of heart. Some of you may or may not know I'm currently living in Dubai. And in this moment in time, when you're listening, there is a regional conflict/war happening. And for me, it made me reflect and think again, what would I really like to cover and talk about in this week's episode or this month? I write these pause phrases, and pause phrases are like 3 to 5 words, catchphrases that help as a reminder to train my mind when it comes to when I'm feeling under pressure or when I'm faced with challenges or life obstacles. They help me not avoid a situation and transform them and work with my situation at hand. And this is not a new practice. This is based off a very old practice, Buddhist practice, that has been written back in the 11th century or something, just for those who needed that extra continuity or care if meditation, for example, felt really tough or their spiritual practice was feeling challenged. Now, I like something practical, so I've been working on this for many, many years. And one of these pause phrases I pulled out this week was lighten up those damn fears. And I was like, really? In this time and in this moment? The reality is currently there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of intensive uncertainty here in the region and intensive uncertainty outside of the region. For me, it's me living here. What is the impact? And for my family members out there from abroad who are wondering, why haven't I gotten on a flight and left just yet? Can't blame them, and I understand where they're coming from. You see, uncertainty brings out a lot of the worst out of you right away. It brings out all the things you don't want to see or you don't want to talk about right at the front. You become hyper alert even though you don't realize that you are hyper alert. And then you get greeted with messages like, stay positive or get out or, and your emotions are trying to find a steady rhythm in all of this because your flight or fight mode is working in the background. So how did I deal with it? Well, let me get started with how I am seeing the situation. When it first happened, I was amazed by a couple of things. First of all, here in the UAE, the leadership has been nothing short of remarkable. They have been organized, they have been calm, and in these times of crisis, they have been communicating with the residents here in the UAE as opposed to talking at them. Their style of language and the way they narrate to us, the kinds of words they use offer calmness, offers trust. Many of us are in between and torn between staying or going. On the other hand, for a couple of days, we had no idea what our embassies were planning to do or what did they have in mind. It was silent. And if you turned on the news, you would look across the world. One thing I found interesting being here and looking at the news in the West was how much so many individuals would talk about people who live here are fleeing from taxes. And I thought to myself, how little do we actually know and how much ignorance can really be harmful on many levels. A couple of days later, when we got news from the embassy, they were more interested in getting and repatriating tourists out of the country and those in transit, which I understand. But again, no way of reporting or reflecting what are their steps with taking care of those other nationalities that are here. I find the narrative very interesting because it reflects the way we are coming across in this world. We are so good at telling other people what they should be doing. And I've seen this, I've lived this in the West. This country should be doing that, and that country should be doing that. But what about that three fingers that are pointing within us? I never thought I would see how different cultural, emotional intelligence plays a big role in the way we are communicating at the moment. Now, when I picked out Lighten Those Damn Fears, I had almost wished that it would have been nice to see the narrative from other embassies in the West take on a way to calm the fears of others. Their style of writing has been very direct, almost too practical to the point that, but still did not reflect a course of action. I wish sometimes this was a little bit different. But also, Lighten Those Damn Fears had me thinking about a conversation I had recently with a wonderful guest who I will be sharing this month. She is a fabulous lawyer. She also has a very human approach in her style of leadership. And so we ended up talking about humor. And that was fascinating to see how it can help in things like negotiations, how it helps with fears. And it had me thinking, that's so true, because when I feel a lot of pressure or intensity, that card was made for me to remember to not take my pressure so hard. And one of the ways I do that is by going into my sense of humor. When I look at sense of humor, I can look at the humor in a situation, or I lighten that situation. I'm able to relieve my mind to see at other possibilities and other perspectives and perceptions that I may not have considered. Humor can calm us down. Lightening our fears can calm us down. And it's just about not taking the whole thing, I'm not wanting to say the word too serious, but not holding so tight on being controlling over the situation. And so by lightening is the attachment towards that thought or that fear and trying to control the outcome of it. And that can also be another form of lightening those fears. Another thing that got me thinking about that pause phrase, lighten those damn fears, is recognizing how much my doubts elevate and my ability to trust myself goes almost like for a while out of the window. When I saw the news narrate on the outside versus on the inside, I had to also navigate the conversations with my family and friends' fear, because they come from a good place. They really care about me. They want me to feel safe. And if anything, they want me to be with them. I totally understand that. And at the same time, I'm here and I wonder if I got on a plane or had to get to the airport, how safe would that be? Because the journey is not a 1, 2, 3 conversation. So I go to sleep at night now. I have to close my windows. I have to draw the curtains. I have to take extra precaution on how to sleep because I sleep near a window. And so you're already going in asleep a little bit more on high alert. Then you're in a dark room and you wake up in the morning and you have not, to some degree, you don't have a control because you don't know what's going to happen when you draw that curtain, right? And you look at your phone, at least I do, and I know a lot of people do this. You look at your phone, the first thing you do is check your messages. And I'm bombarded with, initially I was bombarded with, stay safe. Have you left Dubai? Have you gotten on a flight? Have you checked the flights? Oh my God, I'm seeing the news and it's so scary. And I now have to navigate that first thing in the morning, how to put my family and friends at ease, but also how to put myself at ease, because it puts you in a sense of a conflicting feeling inside, whether is by you not leaving a good thing or a bad thing, or how do you do that, and how do you narrate to your family or friends who are really caring for you that this kind of way of communicating is actually making it feel worse inside. And you're torn between that guilt, right? Because they're really caring for you and you don't want to turn them away either. So there are all these like layers underneath this sense of fear. There's so much going on. And one thing I learned from the back of it is now I tell individuals, I'm like, can you please share with me, or can you please talk to me like this? The reason I tell them that is because I'm supporting them in navigating me and being part of the solution. And by keeping me calm with their narrative, we can work towards a solution together. These are just the subtle things that I have learned in this whole process. I am sharing with you this month 2 guests. One who's going to talk to you about sense of humor, humanity in times like this. And another one is a wonderful friend from the Caribbean living in the Netherlands. And she is going to talk about leadership in change management in the current times that we face in. I hope you enjoy these month's episodes. And of course, please reach out. I'd love to hear your thoughts around how we deal with uncertainties. Share them, because I would love to share them with our listeners as well. Together, we navigate change. I can't just do it on my own. I don't want to do it on my own, but I want us to do it together. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being part of Drop Your Noise. This week's last 2 weeks has really made me appreciate this all the more. Hey, have a good one. Till the next one. Take care.